Alright, looks like we're live. Alright, I'm just going to post a link to the Discord, get the chat up on my phone. And then we'll start the stream. Alright, streams in the Discord announcements. Bada bing, bada boom. Let me load up the chat on my phone so I don't have to keep on going back onto this page. I load up my phone and the first message I see is the altcoin will get slaughtered. Alright, what's everyone saying? Damn, we got an audience today. This is probably the most active I've had the chat out of all my streams. What's everyone saying? Omran, what's up? Vlad, what's up? Georgie, Crypto Dude, Abdullah, Vakas, Chute. Oh gosh, I hate pronouncing people's names that sound complicated. Chuaib, I'm sorry, I probably slaughtered that. Gary, Susie, what's up? Drago, what's up? Blood-Tinged Wolf, what's up? Russell Jones, Vakas, Kid Crypto again. What's everyone saying? How's everyone doing? Do you mind covering the false top theory today? What is the false top theory? I have not heard of that before. I haven't even checked out the charts yet. I'm gonna load everything up. Wow, dominance is coming down relatively hard today. Let's see what the corn is doing. Corn still heading down, pretty weak bounce. The dollar in the stock markets was worrying. The dollar looks very, very strong right now. We load up the other charts. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Google tab. Coin market cap. Alright, we've got everything we need. I can't promise I won't stutter if I don't have to say the word economics. That's such a hard word to say. Dominance dropping quick. Yeah, the dominance is heading down pretty strongly right now. We're still in our major Fibonacci region, so I'm really not worried about the dominance right now. Like, we literally did this over here like a month ago or so. Went on a massive rally. Correction, 618. And it looks like we're doing the exact same thing now, so... Let me see if I can full screen the chat. Need to find somewhere to put it. Alright, this is good. Dominance dropping quick. Do you think we are going to consolidate here for a while? I really don't think we... on what? The dominance or the crypto market charts? I don't think Bitcoin and the alts are going to consolidate. I think they're going to start heading down pretty quickly. But the dominance... I have a feeling the dominance is going to go sideways until the next either Bitcoin only rally or Bitcoin starts to massively move below 20,000. I think if Bitcoin capitulates below 20,000, you're probably going to see the Bitcoin alt pairs probably take another massive run to the upside once again. How's KDA? I haven't actually checked KDA in a couple of days. If you've been in the Discord, I've been saying I've been pretty busy for the past couple of days, so I haven't kept up with these altcoins, so I'm going to load them up one at a time. Keep up KDA BTC. Going up against Bitcoin. Let's see, Cadena. Alright, here we go. So, the last video we made for Cadena, I believe we were looking at the 4-hourly time frame. Oh, I don't have my EMA ribbons in, that's why. No, we were looking at the daily time frame. We were somewhere around about here. We were calling for a move basically down to $1, which I still do think is on the table. I really don't think anything has changed since my previous prediction. I do see something like a bear flag. I'm going to go into the lower time frames and see how it's panning out right now. But what we said in the last video is if we do have a bounce, because at that time the dominance was starting to come down, if we do have a bounce, you're really not out of the clear until you at least take out the daily EMA ribbons. And we haven't even managed to get above the daily EMAs yet. So In my opinion, Cadena is still showing extreme signs of weakness. And bear in mind, I've been covering this since $6.50, and a lot of the time, you know, not that I have anything wrong with it, but, you know, when we bounced up to like $6, people were kind of like, you know, are you still calling for lower price targets? And then we broke down. Once we bounced up to $5, people were asking me, am I still expecting lower price targets? They were asking at 430. Especially when we came up to 346, like this was a massive bounce, and you can see all it did was come into the EMA ribbons and start rolling back down. So we are still in the exact same position as we were from the last update. As you can see, I mean, I don't need to go through every single data point, but lower high, oops. Oh no, I messed up. Control Z, Control X, Control C. How do I put it back? Oh, it's Control Y. I need to learn some of the commands on here to make my job easier. So lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and once again it's still a lower high, but as you can see, there's really not a lot of strength in the market right now. I mean, we did bounce up from 134. Let's see what the market cap of KDA is on right now. I mean, the market cap is still relatively low, and I say relatively with a grain of salt because it is very high. I mean, 316 million. What I mean by that is this is the crypto markets. You know, when we have a big rally, this is going to take a big rally. When we take a big dive, this is going to take a big dive. So I still do think $1 on the table. We're probably likely to start coming down. I really don't see us getting too much above $2. Let's see what our previous fib from low to high is, because we've got our 1.618 down here at 45 cent. We previously talked about that. Let me get rid of this for a second. So even on the micro fibs, yeah, like, look at this. I mean, even on the micro fibs, we could have drawn this out from like this uptrend all the way up here. And as you can see, you know, we're nowhere near any of the fibs that we need to be above. Control Y. Control Y. Alright, it just doesn't want to be my friend today. But as you can see, I mean, even from the most lowest, or even from the most recent macro impulse, or micro impulse rather, you're still under the 236. We bounced into the 236, had 2 daily closes, and at this moment in time, it looks like in the lower time frames, if I get rid of this, lower time frames, you're still struggling to get in the EMA ribbons. You're showing weakness right now. This looks like another bunny hill. If you're a veteran to my channel, you'll know that term. I basically made it up by myself. I mean, it's not a precise technical, because I really don't even see anyone else using the squeeze mom on YouTube. But for example, if we talk about what happened over here, 4-hourly time frame constitutes these bunny hills so well. So, you know, you zoom out on KDA, we look at this, we recognize since $6.50, $7 or so, the downtrend's been perfectly defined by the 4-hourly EMA ribbons. What you see here, little bunny hill into the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, and we had a bunny hill over on the squeeze mom, bunny hill just above the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, bunny hill on the squeeze mom, bunny hill on the squeeze mom, bunny hill on the price action into 4-hourly EMAs, bunny hill, you get the gist of this. Every time we have one of these bunny hills, these correlate so perfectly. Like, I need to make a separate video about bunny hills, just because I really don't even think this is a thing. Crypto bunny hills. Ben Cohen's made a video called Bunny Hills, but it doesn't look like he's correlating this to an oscillator. So yeah, so take that with a grain of salt. But this is just based on my TA, and it does seem to play out like literally every single time. And obviously all TA is made up by someone at some point in time, so in my opinion this is probably what to expect next. It looks like we're having a bunny hill on the 4-hourly time frame. Let me get rid of all of this. Get rid of these. We've come up into the EMA ribbons. We're showing extreme weakness. The squeeze bomb is trickling over to the downside. I am expecting that next leg to the downside very soon. We are still in a pretty nice uptrend, but you can see left shoulder, right shoulder. We really need to start pushing above this invalidation point, and even if you do break above $1.88, you still do have to fight with the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, and even if we did flip the 4-hourly, you'd have to fight the daily. If we get rid of all our data points, head over to the Hikanashi candles. This is really not anything new. You can see, I mean, you know, have a couple of days of a bounce, couple of days of a bounce, couple of days of a bounce, couple of days of a bounce. And we're already trickling over into the red on the Heikenhashi, so be very, very cautious. As I've been saying for all of these altcoins, I do not think the bottom is in for any of them. I've been saying this for a long period of time, but in my opinion, the next leg to the downside is probably coming pretty soon for KDA. And once again, my price target has not changed since we made the video up here at 194. I still do think $1 on the table, and bear in mind, $1 is my conservative target. So when I say $1 on the table, I mean that in my mind, $1 is inevitable, but it's the most conservative price target that you could possibly pull from at this moment in time. So KDA against the USD doesn't really look good to me. It looks like we're running out of momentum, coming back down to these lows. On basically all of your fibs, you really have no strength whatsoever. From this fib, you're not even above the 236. From this fib, you've only just broken 236. From the most recent, let's see, no, I can't draw it from here, I need to draw it from here. From the most recent low to the high, I mean, even in these micro time frames, you are not even coming up to anything close to these orange boxes. And in fact, even in the micro time frames, we just got a pretty solid rejection from the 618. So yes, we can bounce in the next day or so. $2 is a very, very important level. Unless we get above $2, I really don't think we're bullish. And even if we do get above $2, my opinion will be the same. I think it will be a dead cat bounce before the next rollover. KDA versus Bitcoin. A lot of these altcoin pairs have been performing relatively well against Bitcoin, which is to be expected. You know, a lot of people, and by the way, you might be looking at this thinking, where is this fib even drawn to? If we come over to the daily, it's the candle body closes up here. If we come over to the weekly time frame, once again, as you can see, the macro time frame has been completely invalidated. From the candle body closes up here on the Bitcoin pair, all we've done is broke below the 786, and, you know, granted, we do have somewhat potential of a double bottom W pattern playing out right now, but while you're below the 786, while the Fed keeps on increasing the interest rates, while the Bitcoin dominance is macro bullish, while it looks like we're in a recession, I really just don't think I don't think Cadena is going to be performing well for too much longer. This is a weekly bounce. Yeah, Heikenhashi's the bounce hasn't even happened, so that should probably tell you something about the market structure. And as you can see, if we look at the Heikenhashi's over on the weekly time frame for Cadena against Bitcoin, it is a pretty telling chart. Like you can see, we have a lot of these wicks to the upside, which is kind of what we've done here, but we're still showing extreme weakness. Higher time frames are still bearish. Volume is coming in. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for KDA. $1 once again, in my opinion. I've been saying this for a while, but $1 is not my bottom price target. This is my inevitability most conservative price target, and I more likely think that we're probably going to head down to 80 cent. And bear in mind, once again, I'm not saying I'm going to be DCAing at 80 cent, because I would not be surprised if we do break below 79, we could come all the way back down to the lows at like 31 cent, which I know is absolutely like some KDA fans might think that's blasphemy, but you know, the fact of the matter is, if you look back at what happened in the 2018 bear market, these altcoins do not hold up. These altcoins don't hold up well in a bear market, so I think it's very conservative to say $1. I still think it's reasonably conservative to say 80 cents. So that's pretty much what I see happening on KDA. Let's check out some of the other comments. Forget about alts for now. Yeah, pretty much. It's time to stack Bitcoin and Baklava. What do you think of Algo? I think it's a good long-term project. As far as I'm aware, I'm probably sure there's some others, but out of all of the blockchains that I've heavily researched on and I know a lot of information on, Algo is probably one of the most promising. I believe it's called, what is it? Because it's not net zero, it's net negative. It's got net negative carbon emissions. So, you know, basically, if you use the Algorand blockchain instead of, you know, because people say, you know, using Bitcoin is bad for the environment. When you use Algorand, they will use, you know, some of the monetary value to plant trees and stuff for the environment. So I do like Algo. It's got a lot of good partnerships on the lineup. I think they recently partnered with the Australia Zoo, Steve Irwin. So I do like Algo. I have held Algo for years now, but I currently don't hold any Algorand. I used to have it staked on a ledger. I can't remember how often you get rewards, but I'm pretty sure it was like every couple of hours. how often do algo rewards... Because I swear it was more than every 1 day. Rewards generate on ledger. Every 20 minutes, yeah, God. So, yeah, I do think Algorand's a pretty cool blockchain. Is it going to be here forever? Would I want to hold it for like 10 years? Absolutely not. Would I maybe want to look at it if it's still a good performer in the next bear market? Or in the next bull market, at the start of the next bull market, if it's still around, if it's still having partnerships, if it's still building. Algorand is definitely one of the top ones that I actually do plan on looking on. So it's not often I have, very, very positive words on an altcoin. So Algorand is probably one of my favorite altcoins. But once again, I would not marry an altcoin. I do have to emphasize that. Yeah, the second run-up to all-time high was a false at the time of the high, and that was the all-time high was in 2021 with a false top. That's why we see divergence and is overshooting wave B. If you mean from the correction, I think we're in wave C. If we go over to the Elliott waves. So I have my Elliott waves drawn like this. So you've got the 2018 low, you've got your 1 impulse, your 2 correctory wave, 3 impulse, 4 correctory wave, and 5 impulse. And it doesn't, the 5 wave should have been higher than this, but the fact is, if you look at what happened in these waves, I really don't think there's any other way to draw it, because you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that completes your 5 waves. So, we've already had one massive leg to the downside. That would be your macro A. We've had a macro impulse. That would be your B. In my opinion, we're in C right now. Does that mean we can't go a lot lower in this final wave 5? I actually do think we're going a lot lower. So, I mean, this is my perspective on the Elliott waves. I think we're in the last wave. Once again, if we look at the last impulse we're in right now, you can see massive drop down to the 1, correctory wave, massive impulse down to the 3, correctory wave. And yeah, I think we're sitting in that 5 wave right now. So, we should bottom, at least according to Elliott wave theory, above 14,000. And I'm personally not of the opinion that we're going that low. So, once again, this is just the lowest target if Elliott wave theory was to remain valid. And I have said this before in a lot of my Elliott wave videos. Elliott wave theory is really not my favorite theory. It can be quite open-ended, quite ambiguous, and some people do argue it's not ambiguous because there's a very finite, there's a very specific set of rules that constitute Elliott waves, like your 5 correct, like your 5 waves in a run, or a 5 wave to the downside, your ABC, and they've all got these waves between them, and they all have to be measured at certain rates. So yeah, it's not ambiguous in that sense, but where you could draw it from and where the price targets can go down to is ambiguous. Like with the Elliott waves, it will never tell you an exact price target. It will just say, if you're in the last C wave, we should be above 14. So I do think the bottom for Bitcoin is relatively near. Let's see what we've got going on. I'm eyeing a short on FTM to break out this bear flag. Best of luck with that. Making us in the C wave down on the weekly. Yeah, that's what I see as well. I didn't see your comment before I went through that. Russell, take a look at Sol. Got a short open. Alright, 1 second. We'll load up Sol. I'll read through the comments until we get to the next request. Sol against the corn. Alright, and then I think some people want to see GST, and I imagine some people probably want to see some of the move to earn. So let's check out what is going on with Solana first. Alright, let me just get my chat in order. Alright, so Sol, let's start off on the higher time frames. Okay, because I haven't looked at these charts for a couple of days, so you just have to bear with me. Yeah, I really don't like what we see on the weekly. The weekly squeeze bomb, I think I talked about this last week, but we've literally just confirmed it in this week as well. We have a huge macro shift on the weekly squeeze bomb. This is a super bearish indicator. I just want to highlight the last time we did flip light red over on the squeeze bomb was when we were having a trend reversal on the 17th of January. As you can see, the last time we had a light red flip on the squeeze mom, we literally went down 80%. Now, you know, once again, just because it happened before, I'm not saying this is going to happen again. You know, past performance doesn't equal what we're going to see today, but I still do think that this is a really, really bearish sign. Weekly EMA ribbons have flipped bearish as well, so I mean, it wouldn't even be out of the blue to potentially see a slight impulse from our low to high. You can see our fibs actually perfectly line up with the weekly. So, you know, in the case that for some reason altcoins decide to take one more last leg to the upside, you could do something like this, but I'm really not counting on it. I do want to emphasize that. I just want to say, you know, if we do have another dead cat bounce, we're really not out of the water on the Heikonashis. Are we on the Heikonashis? No, we're not. As you can see, yeah, this is super bearish. We just haven't taken a break. So, you know, a lot of people look at the 4-hourly time frame, 1-hourly time frame, daily time frame, and say, you know, why are these altcoins bouncing? But, you know, as you can see, we had, if you look at this entire trend to the downside, what you'll notice is you have these big wicks to the downside that get bought up on the weekly time frames. This was a huge wick back to the upside. Every single week we just have another wick back to the upside, and then the next week we just come back down, we break below that wick, candle body closes where the previous wick is. So I'd imagine next week, coming into, you know, Saturday, Sunday, Friday of next week, I imagine $26 is probably the highest we're going to bounce. In the lower time frames, we are definitely heading down once again. Massive increase in bearish volume. Squeeze bomb is trickling over into the light red, which is really not what you want to see. Head over to the daily time frame. Once again, I want to look at what's going on the Heikonashis. And yeah, it seems like we've just had another fakie. So once again, you can see little. Well, this is, you know, technically I always talk about the bunny hills correlating to the 4-hourly time frame squeeze bomb flips, so I'm going to be checking that out in a second, seeing if these are bunny hills. But if you look at the Heikonashis, it's so clear cut. You've just got an M coming into another M, coming into another M, coming into another M. In my opinion, there's really nothing to get out of bed for. So I'm going to move on to the lower time frames to talk about, you know, personally, would I be shorting this right now? Because like I said, I've been quite busy for the past couple of days, so I really haven't been keeping up with these alts too heavily. But that being said, I would imagine I'd definitely rather be short than long on Solana right now. Squeeze bomb daily time frame is trickling back over to the downside since the last recent impulse up to 35. Clear this up again. Head over to the 4-hourly, and I imagine we are going to be seeing bunny hills into the 4-hourly EMAs. Let's see what we've got going on here. Let me remove drawings for a second so we can strictly focus on the bunny hills. So I was going to talk about what's been going on since May, so at least you've got a good perspective of what's been going on in the midterm time frames. Bunny hill, bunny hill, bunny hill, bunny hill, bunny hill, bunny hill. If you look at the squeeze bomb, this perfectly correlates to another bunny hill. Perfectly correlates. Perfectly correlates. Perfectly correlates. This one was basically the same move. We actually came down to reset this because this was basically such a big M and it was a lower high. We didn't make a textbook bunny hill, or at least what I consider a textbook bunny hill. I mean, considering I'm the person who just, you know, invented these bunny hills or whatever, I guess I'd probably need to subside a set of rules for them before I do make a video for them. But nonetheless, you can always see these 4-hourly flips where you head over light term, or should I say short term bullish, over on the 4-hour. You just come into the EMA ribbons, squeeze bomb flips up to the upside, and then you get pulled back down, you don't see continuation. Once again, most recent bounce, we are already running out of momentum, so I would definitely not want to be long this. I wouldn't want to be spot this. I don't necessarily think I'd want to be short until we do have a break, but I'm going to head over to the lower time frames and see what is going on. Let's check out what's going on with fibs. So if you did have a big move below the 618, that'd probably be the place that I'd be looking to short, because right now we are above the short-term EMA ribbons, and I never really like to short while we're above the short-term EMA ribbons. So you're technically just above the 0.5 So once again, at this moment in time, I wouldn't be shorting. I'd be looking for this rejection from the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, which, by the way, I do think it's going to be coming into fruition. So, you know, if you're using 2x leverage or something, I really wouldn't worry. But once again, like I said, this is not a trade that I would take at this moment in time. So if you are trading this, then, you know, I'm sure you already know this, but this is your trade, not mine. I wouldn't be shorting at this moment in time. However, I do think it's probably likely we're going to come back down to 29, maybe lollygag, break down. And I think the breakdown below 29.7 is when you should probably start getting out of bed. Well, let me rephrase that. So once we break below the 0.5, which in the next 8 hours time would allow you to also break below the uptrending level of support, I'd be waiting for about 2 4-hourly candle body closes. So I'd give it 4 to 8 hours. Unless we strongly come down to the 618 in like 4 hours, then it might just be a sign that we're having a big altcoin market liquidation. And then at that moment in time, that would probably be where I'd be looking to short. If we check out the total crypto market cap, wow, Bitcoin's really been beaten down this week. So total 2, total 1 has had is basically lollygagging. So it seems like total 2 is stuck in the middle of nowhere, but it's stuck in the middle of nowhere because it's waiting for the entirety of the crypto market to make a move. So total 2 is the altcoin market, total 1 is just the entirety of the crypto market. And at this moment in time, the total crypto market cap is sitting at / around 843 billion, which is where we are residing on the 200-week moving average. So I'd say a big move, you know, potentially even coming down another 5% or so would push us below these EMA ribbons. And then I think that is when you're very, very likely to see a very, very quick flush out on Bitcoin. But that's kind of the period in time where I expect Bitcoin to once again start outperforming. Because once again, Bitcoin dominance, if you go over to the weekly time frame, switch over to the Heikonashis, it's been on an absolute murder spree. It's been taking out shitcoins left, right, and center. And, you know, this is kind of what people are kind of worrying about right now. People are saying, you know, why is the Bitcoin dominance having a correction? But, you know, in theory, this is just a little doji candle in a whole string of massive moves to the upside. So I really wouldn't even be worried looking at this market structure if, you know, once again, we haven't even had because right here you can see, I mean, maybe if we switch over to the Japanese candlesticks, it doesn't really look too nice. It doesn't look like a bull flag, that's for sure. It just looks more like a textbook correction to the Fibonacci, so I wouldn't constitute this as a bull flag, even though it looks like a bull flag, or it did look like a bull flag over on the Heikonashis. But in my opinion, you know, once again, if we zoom back on the Bitcoin dominance, this is the most likely theory which I see playing out. This is a massive W pattern at this moment in time. Switch over to the Japanese candlesticks, cross this out one more time. Horizontal ray, whether you want to put it on here or here, it doesn't really matter. Low to the high, you came down to the 0.5, didn't even make it down to the 618. So, you know, as you know, if you do hold the 618, market structure is very, very bullish. So the fact that we didn't even make it down to the 618 the last time just shows how strong it is at this moment in time. So once again, if we do come down to the 44% region and then have a bounce, we could just be confirming this macro W breakout. And it looks like the price target is either hit or very close to being hit. It's almost hit. This would take you above 49%, and why 49% is very imperative to break above is because you can see if we now bring back our OG chart, oops, the breakout target is really around, I'd say 48% is once you are probably going to start seeing the dominance once again mooning. So Bitcoin dominance looks pretty good to me. I think at some point, because it looks like Solana wants to head down now. Like I said, on the 4 hour, it looks like we do have this bunny hill. It looks like we are emming out. We are falling out of the EMAs. But once again, I wouldn't be short while we're above the micro fibs. I wouldn't be short, you know, until we do have this big move down. So in my opinion, if I was going to short this, I'd probably short it from the 618 down to the 786. That would be, you know, almost a 6% move. So, you know, a 10x leverage, that would be another 60% trade. That's probably something I'm definitely going to include over on the Discord. I'm definitely interested in shorting this, but not at this moment in time. Hourly time frame, even though I really don't like looking at the hourly, I just want to see what's going on short term. really not too much to talk about on the hourly. You know, we're kind of just lollygagging at this period in time. So I'd keep an eye on the 4 hour. $29 is $29.70 really. That's when I'd be very interested in taking a short on Solana. But yeah, Solana still looks like it wants to head down to lower price targets. I made this video maybe a week ago or something, but I said, in my opinion, Solana is probably coming down to single digits. And in fact, my price target was actually down here at $11. But nonetheless, what I kind of mean is we're probably going to break below this and probably maybe head down to like $9. So that's kind of what I see planning out on Sol. Once again, I wouldn't be short right now. I'd be waiting for the 618 to break. GST as well. We'll check out what's going on in Satoshi token. Wow, this has been one of the weaker ones. We're still massively heading down to the price target. Since I last made a video on this, we were at 43 cent and I was calling for a move down to 18 cent. Every time I make a prediction on green Satoshi token, it almost, when I'm making the prediction, I'm like, because I'm just reading the charts, I'm just looking at the analysis objectively, and I look at it objectively, you know, my brain says this is what's going to be happening, you know, because I look at TA like a robot. I don't like to bring my emotions in the chart. I think that's how traders get wrecked, bringing your emotions into the chart. I look at things like a robot. That's how I do things. But, you know, like I said, the TA, in my opinion, was saying we're going to drop like 57%. And, you know, while I was saying that, my brain was like, yeah, that's right. But, you know, my heart was like, I don't know. But, you know, once again, we are filling these price targets. I'm just looking at this objectively, down 43% since the last video. So this prediction's planning out perfectly. 18 cents still on the table. Green Satoshi token looks pretty bad right now. Heikanashi candles, pretty, not really a bear flag. Although, no, I wouldn't call it a bear flag. Nonetheless, in my opinion, we are just lollygagging, trickling down before the next major move. Once again, just look at the daily Heikanashi candles. I mean, this is a slaughter fest. My days. So, I mean, even if let's just say that this was a green candle, even though it was a tiny dinky bump. But let's just say the trend started shifting to the downside after that green candle. I mean, 27 days of moving down non-stop every single day without a bounce on green Satoshi token. Volume is exponentially increasing. So, you know, this is probably one of the simple ones. I'm literally just going to spend 10 seconds on this one. It's going down to 18 cent in my opinion. You know, this chart, at least out of the altcoins that I've looked at today, which really haven't been many because it's only the start of the stream, this really does not look like a good chart. Yeah. Let's see, what is the next level down? Because I do not think that 18 cent is going to be the bottom. Bear in mind, you know, we take this one price target at a time. And the reason why we do that is because, you know, it's very important to not say, you know, this is exactly where I think it's going to bottom and I'm not willing to change my opinion. That's absolutely not what I want to do on this channel. What I do is I say we're going to take it one step at a time. At this moment in time, the TA is calling for this price target. When we get lower, when we get closer to this price target, we're going to reanalyze the markets, because obviously we're going to have things like, you know, FOMC meetings. We're going to have inflation numbers, CPI numbers, you know, Biden could be stirring up a shitstorm in the economy once again, but nonetheless, this is why we look at this one step at a time. And as we are coming down to this price target, in my opinion, I do need a lower price target, because I do not think that 18 cent is going to hold for green Satoshi token, even though the market cap is relatively low. So it depends if the degens are going to hold this. What do you think about Steppen? A, created a new market which fueled by the need of earning. B, a Ponzi scheme. That's not wrong. C, it's not about earning only. It's about improving people's lifestyle. I don't know whether they're bearish or bullish. They're saying, you know, this is great. It's improving people's lifestyles. It's also a Ponzi scheme. So I don't know. I just caught my eye nonetheless. But yeah, if you don't know already, this is obviously a Ponzi scheme. So, you know, it's not going to be around forever. As I have always said with these move to earns, they are around for a short time. They're here for a good time. They're not here for a long time. And if you're an OG to my channel, you literally know that I've been saying this since we were around about, you know, $4. And, you know, people called me a fodder and said it's going to the moon, when I was saying, you know, sure, it's going to go up, but until the trend shifts bearish, because we were trading this, you know, we made a ton of money on green Satoshi token, but more importantly, we made a lot of money on green Metaverse token when we started covering it ages ago. But nonetheless, we got out of it as soon as these EMA ribbons started flipping bearish. Since then, we've been expecting lower price targets, and it is heading down. So once again, you know, I said this a couple of months ago, I'm going to say it again. These are all Ponzi schemes. All the move to earns are Ponzi/pyramid schemes. You know, the only way that you can make money on these pyramid schemes is if someone else comes in below you and buys a shoe, buys a token to buy a shoe, adds to the market cap, and that way they're able to use that market cap to give you rewards. So if you didn't know already, these are all pyramid schemes and they are not going to last that long. You know, once open interest in these move to earn starts to subside, you're going to start seeing massive moves to the downside, which is what we're already seeing. Once again, like I've been saying, this highlights my point exactly. When all the hype was in this project, it was up here at $9.40. Now there's more sellers than buyers. You know, people, the thing is, people think, you know, these move to earns are going to be great to hold and earn from over the bear market. And, you know, if you've got a mad shoe game down and you just know all the ins and outs, then fair enough, you know, do your thing. But if everyone has the same mindset that they're not going to buy green Satoshi token, if they're not going to buy new shoes, and they're only going to go and run and, you know, earn green Satoshi tokens, you're going to start to see the market slide massively landsliding. And that's what we've seen from $9.44 all the way down here to 25 cents. So once again, the only way these move to earns will ever survive is if there is a non-stop flow of new investors. I believe it's called greater fool theory. So the only way you'll make money on this is if someone else comes and is willing to, you know, pay for more of it. So, you know, once again, it's probably not going to last a long time, but, you know, the next level down, we need to start looking at new fibs, because these 4 hourly ones are invalidated. Let's see. One sec, I'm going to check out the chat in a sec. Clear this up. So we don't have data on the 1.618 yet. Is that the one we were running off? Because that looks the same. It's like the same price target. No, it's not. So you've got another area of confluence down here at 18 cents. So this is going to be a massive, massive level, either of a support or resistance flip. 18 cent. If we bounce on it, you know, you might be able to see a massive 2x rally back up to, you know, almost 32 cent. If we capitulate below 18 cent, then this is probably going to the gutter. So this fib, actually let's keep it high level of confluence right here, the next level down from here. Okay, so it's in the minuses, so once again we wouldn't be able to draw from this one. We get rid of this arrow, low to the high. Your next level down to be 11 cents. So at this moment in time, I do have a new prediction on green Satoshi token. In my opinion, this is the next move that I'm calling for. So, you know, once again, I'm going to keep this previous prediction on the chart because we were predicting a 57% move. And I do want to see, you know, once this pans out, I do want to be able to remove this and be happy that the target has been hit. At this moment in time, very short term, 18.5 cent is on the table. The next leg down, in my opinion, is coming into fruition. This is a 55% drop down to 11 cents. So, you know, once again, I do not have any of the move to earn shoes or anything like that. But if you have some, you know, magical game pattern down where, you know, you're somehow able to make a ton of money from it, then, you know, go ahead and do your thing. But I don't think this would be something that I'd be looking to touch whatsoever. And then your next level down from that would be down here at 8 cent. And then you'd come down to 5 cents. So those are a couple of food for thought targets. Once again, 18.5 cent is coming. 11.3 cent is my next price prediction. Alright, I'm going to check out some of the comments now. I really want to know what will happen with Algo, as Algo will be sponsoring FIFA, which is bullish news. Yeah, I made a news update on that on my channel. That is also very interesting news. This would make high price on November World Cup will start. I disagree with that. I think it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news by the time the World Cup starts. For example, everyone said the exact same thing for Crypto.com. As soon as Crypto.com bought, what was it called? They bought a specific stadium. And let me just prove my point here. CRO buys stadium, Staples Center. So when did this news come out? The 11th of November 2021. And a lot of people don't understand buy the rumor, sell the news. Let me show you exactly what buy the rumor, sell the news is. Because everyone was saying when it comes to December, you know, everyone and their nan was saying as soon as December comes, it is going to moon to, you know, $5, $10, all these crazy price targets. But this was the exact top. As soon as they announced they were buying the Staples Center, you know, we basically trickled into the... I believe it was the Lakers that were playing that day. I don't watch basketball, I only play it, so I'm not a fan of watching sports, only playing them. But nonetheless, 17th of November is when this news came out. If we go over to crypto.com, 17th of November. So it seemed, once again, you know, you did have a rally into this. So let's find the exact date. Just like we did rally on the algo price, by the way. So, you know, on algo, we did rally when the news came out. But then, as you can see, 17th of November was right here. We proceeded to move up about 80%. But, you know, this was literally within correlation of a couple of days of the top. So, I don't think that by the time the FIFA partnership is coming out that's going to be bullish news. It's already priced into the market. For example, we pumped on crypto.com on the news, because the news came out of nowhere. We pumped on the news of them buying the Staples Center. As soon as it was bought, we pumped into the news, and everyone and their nan in the crypto.com ecosystem was saying as soon as the game comes in December, I believe it was Christmas time, or it was the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, everyone was saying, you know, the Lakers game is on, this is when crypto.com is going to moon, and that literally marked, you know, pretty much the exact top roundabout here. As soon as the game came into fruition, massive landslide ever since. So I would definitely be very, very careful. I would not be buying any altcoins right now, and I especially wouldn't be buying Algorand at this period in time, considering the, in my opinion at least, which is, it's not really an opinion. If you look back at every buy the rumor, sell the news event in the past year, all of them have played out. If you look at the Axie update, everyone was so bullish on the Axie Origins coming out, marked the exact top. Everyone was bullish about the Solana OpenSea integration, marked the exact local top before we started moving down. And in my opinion, people are bullish on the Ethereum merge, but this is when I think Ethereum's probably going to head down to much lower price targets. So that's just my opinion anyway. I'm doing good, thanks, Gaines. How are you doing? Let's see. Can you get a fair value of Cadena? It's hard to define what the fair value of Cadena is at this moment in time. In my opinion, it has not been around for long enough. It has not, you know, proved its muscle and been around for a plethora of time to kind of say that it would have a super high level of value. It really does need to prove itself. You know, another example of this is Solana. You know, a lot of people got bullish on this as well, you know, including myself. I still do love Solana for the long term. I think it's got a great NFT marketplaces, one of the strongest marketplaces out there. For example, you know, in terms of price, more people use Ethereum, but in terms of overall transactions, more people use Solana. So I still do think, once again, Cadena has a very, very long time to prove itself before I would give itself anything of a fair value. In my opinion, the fair value of Solana, the fair value of KDA would be around 30 million or something, which would be about a 90% drop from where we are. So, you know, 15 to 17 cent is what I'd associate the fair value of Cadena on. And once again, you know, I'm not saying that it's going to go down to those price targets. I don't think it's going to go down to those price targets. But in my opinion, that is the fair value of Cadena. Much lower than we are right now. What about against BTC? BTC dropping, so KDA, BTC prices are going up right now. Could go higher if BTC drops further. I think, you know, the altcoins are having a bounce, including Cadena, because the Bitcoin dominance is heading down, and, you know, obviously Bitcoin's taking a massive tumble right now, and altcoins are temporarily outperforming them. But I think this is only because, you know, and I say this in the nicest way because I even refer to myself as a degenerate, but nonetheless, altcoin degenerates are buying the dip on their favorite altcoins. They have been buying the dip, you know, the whole way down, specifically for Cadena. You know, a lot of people have been telling me they've been buying the dip down since 650 or something, or even higher than that. But nonetheless, I do really just think this is degenerates buying the dip on their favorite altcoins. And bear in mind, altcoins have a much lower market cap than Bitcoin. So this is the only reason why I think it's bouncing. Pair that with the fact that you look at the Heikin-Ashi candles on Bitcoin, and we've basically been in a straight run up for the past couple of months. Yes, we've taken a couple of breathers. We are holding all of our major important fibs. So I'm really not, I don't think these altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin for too much longer. That's my opinion. Once Bitcoin breaks below the previous all-time high, I think there's going to be mass fear running into the market, and that's when I think alts are going to start heading down. I'm going to take a drink while I'm reading some comments. It's so hot in my country right now. I'm actually melting. Oops, what did I do? How did I even get here? How did I get to Ada? If you click space... Oh, I never knew this. So we just found out something together. If you click space, you can head over to the next chart. That's pretty cool. So if I'm on Solana and my next chart down is Sol BTC, I can just click space and I'll head down. I never knew that. Very interesting. One second. My water bottle just spilled. Alright. All good. Yeah, Bitcoin as well has got mad volume coming in. Gala. Yeah, I'll check out what's going on with Gala quickly. H-bar. 15k Bitcoin. I don't think 15k is happening. I wouldn't be surprised. It's very difficult. Where's the 200? 16,600. This is my lowest price target. I really don't think Bitcoin's going to be down below 16,500 for long. And once again, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a wick below it, but in terms of the weekly time frame, in my opinion, once again, my very subjective opinion because I do not have a crystal ball, I don't think we're going to close more than a weekly candle body below 16,500. So, you know, daily time frame could definitely happen, but nonetheless. When you get a free 10 minutes, just see his Elliott wave count. My Elliott wave count or someone else's? I can't see you recommending anyone else's, so do you mean mine? Let me know. Are you asking if you want to see the Elliott waves again? Alright, so I'm catching up. Green Satoshi token, we captured that. HB Kings, also welcome to the chat. I am preparing my fiat to buy the next crash. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. If you're buying Bitcoin, that's probably a good idea. I don't think it's time to buy alts yet. But nonetheless, the sidelines are the place to be. They have been the place to be. Thoughts on Cadena fundamentals? You know, it's a good blockchain, but like I said, they need to prove themselves. I don't think Cadena has like the craziest, most amazing fundamentals in the world, but you know, I do think it's a pretty cool project. A couple of people asked for Helium, eGold, FitFi, Tron, Atom, AVAX, damn, so there's a lot of messages. FitFi, Staple, Near, oh god. Alright, whoever sends the next message in the chat underneath Tech World asking for Gala and H-Bar, I'll cover next. So I'll just wait for the next message and I'll cover that one. Any thoughts on the Tron stablecoin depeg? I don't keep up with the Tron ecosystem too much. If I'm not mistaken, it's USDD, or is this something else? Like I said, I really don't keep up with Tron. So, oh, I've searched for this before. It is USDD. If you don't already follow me on Twitter, then you might not know my perspective on Tron. Well, I posted this the other day. Let me see. Because, let's see. Tron. It was, he copied something that Justin Sun said. Or Stable Quan. So this is what Stable Quan said. Deploying more capital, steady lads, just before the lunar rug pull. And it seems like Justin Sun Tron is either, you know, memeing this, or yeah, I don't know. But they've both got algorithmic stablecoins, and I don't know. USDD, see how hard the DPEG is. They had a pretty big move down to 96. In my opinion, the next major DPEG, the next major stablecoin that is going to depeg is going to be USDD. That's just my opinion. You know, I would really not be surprised if this headed down to like 50 cent, 30 cent, and then maybe if it is one of these algorithmic stablecoins that really can be completely manipulated, kind of like what happened with USDT, then I do imagine USDD is going to be the next to head down. That's just my opinion. I do think Tron is massively going to get wrecked this market cycle. We even had a short on this in the Discord the other day. Beautiful short. I think it was a 68%. We shorted it and made a 68% move. I believe it was down from the 7.8. Yeah, it was down from the 7.86. We just below the 7.86, and we came down to here. So was this actually an 8.8? I seem to remember it being like a 6 or 7% trade, so you know, it was something like this, but this is where we shorted from. And at the time we actually came down and bounced in the lower time frames. Yeah, this was what we saw, so we had a big bounce back up from when we came down to this thing. So we literally had our take profit right here, and we went a little bit further, like we could have done this more, but nonetheless. Tron is probably the next one to depeg in my opinion. Okay, so people are asking for Tron as well. I just talked about the stable coin, but in terms of the Tron price, macro time frame, 786 is literally your last line in the sand now. 5.7 cent, and this thing is going to massively capitulate. Weekly squeeze bomb just heading to the downside now. EMA ribbons on the weekly time frame look like they want to flip bearish. Bearish volume coming in, squeeze bomb heading down. You're sitting at your last line in the sand. Daily time frame, massive rejection from the EMA ribbons. You've flipped bearish on the EMAs. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. I think 5.7 cent is literally your last line in the sand. After we break below there, as we've already come down to this next level of support, the next line down is all the way down to here. So, in my opinion, Tron is probably going to come down about another 40.5% very soon. Tron short or too early. I wouldn't short this at this moment in time. I always say this, but I like to play my leverage longs or leverage shorts from a position of strength. And at this moment in time, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a dead cat bounce to the upside. We've got inverse head and shoulders, which is a bullish pattern. Nonetheless, don't think it's going to play out. Even if it does, I do not see us getting above 6.7 cent, which is where the top of these 4-hourly EMA ribbons come in. Tron all around just does not look good to me. I think it's going to start massively heading down. The place to short, so you can have a conservative breakdown at 5.7, but I think once you start putting in those daily candle body closes below 5.4 cent, that is the time to short, because we would have massively capitulated below this uptrend that's been in play since the 22nd of June. So that's the area to short in my opinion. And I will be keeping my eyes on it, because I do want to short Tron. I think Tron is going to have a lot of volatility coming in. Would you leverage Bitcoin long? No, I don't. I don't long Bitcoin in bear markets, and I don't short Bitcoin in bull markets. So when Bitcoin's in a bull run, I only like to long Bitcoin. I never short Bitcoin in the bull run. When Bitcoin's in a bear run, I literally only look for shorts because, you know, the matter of the fact is, if you're shorting in a bear market, you'll have a much higher likelihood of having the trade plan out, because how bull markets work is most of the time, you know, for example, if you're in an uptrend in a bull run, and you do something like, let me take that back. If you're in a massive uptrend in a bull run and you do something like this, and you'd say, okay, you know, if we come down to the 618, this is probably, like, for example, if you did something like this in a bull run and you were saying, okay, it looks like we're probably going to come down to these fibs, so let's short this down to the 618. In a bull run, it's much more likely that you'll just have a complete fake out where you won't even come down here. And it's the same in a bear market. Like, if you're having a massive move to the downside in a bear market and you start to see a slight bounce, you know, you could say, you know, this is the area to short, but, you know, in a bear market, it's a lot more likely that you're just going to start heading down before you come up to these bullish price targets. So in a bull run, I do not short, I only long. In a bear market, I only short, I do not long. And when we're in a crab market, I like to do a bit of both. So for example, the last major crab market we had was just after Bitcoin bottom down here. Let's go over to the Bitcoin all-time chart just to show you what I mean. But as you can see here, this was a bull run. This was a bear market. And from here, from here to here, this whole phase, this was kind of like a crab market. This was like a redistribution, reaccumulation range. And then once again, you know, yes, the bull run really started down here, but you know, this would be the time to flip long only. You know, this was the crab market, but nonetheless, we were still sitting in a macro bull. And then this is the bear market, so I'm only looking to short. It's much, much safer to only short in a bear market, in my opinion. I much prefer longing, but, you know, once again, I go with what's safest. I look like I said, I look at this, I look at charts like a robot, so it is what it is. What about ADA and XRP? Good time to short. I don't know about ADA, but XRP is probably always a good time to short. Yeah, it's always a good time to short XRP. This has just broken macro bearish below the 786. One of my favorite things to do with XRP is to put it in the inverse chart, because when you do look at, oh no, what did I do? I've locked the price scale. All right, I need to figure out how. Auto, yeah, there we go. So one of my favorite things to do with XRP is just remove this, and look how bullish this market structure is. You can see, I mean, obviously disregarding the accumulation range over here, but you know, you've got your bear market, you've got a massive bull run, and you accumulated to the side because you've got extreme strength while you're up at these price targets, and then you have a big breakdown, you've got a higher low. This was, quote unquote, the bear market in the inverse chart. So, you know, for example, down here, this was a massive higher low. And what you've got over on XRP is a massive macro W panning out into a mid to micro term W, panning out into a micro W that's breaking up to the upside. And it looks like, in my opinion, XRP is coming up to its last range of resistance before it breaks to the moon. And obviously we're using the inverse chart, so we're probably going to break to hell, in my opinion. So yeah, to answer your question, it's probably always a good time. If you're shorting XRP on like a 2.5x leverage, and you could probably leave for like 5 years as long as you've got enough funding fees, and you know, this will probably go down to 0 at some point. So this chart, absolutely garbage. We've broken down from a macro bearish pennant, and on the 4-hourly time frame, it looks like we're consolidating within the next bearish pennant. So I'd be waiting for the breakdown. I prefer doing, you know, 10x or more shorts. I don't really like looking at a macro trend and saying, you know, this is probably going to go down, so I'll leave it on like a 2x leverage to the downside. You know, I have so many trades and I keep up with so many charts that I do just like to make quick trades in and out. I really don't like to hold trades for more than 24 hours or a couple of in a bull market with Bitcoin. I like to hold longs like 5x leverage, 2x leverage, 2.5x leverage for not months, sorry, for days, maybe weeks. But when we're coming into this bearish phase, I definitely wouldn't be holding it for too long. But yeah, XRP pretty much heading to zero, probably coming down to 18 cent. Might expect a bounce from then, but the cascade will continue. Epic Media, XRP going to zero. Yes, in my opinion, XRP is going to zero. Like I said, this is the most bullish chart in all of crypto on the inverse scale, and that should obviously spell that it's the most bearish chart over on the regular scale. And also with XRP, like I said, you can literally, if you left the market, obviously you wouldn't have been able to do it from here because we dropped a mental percentage. Yeah. But for example, like if you were holding XRP back from the top here in the 2018 run, even in the 2021 run, this was a lower high. We didn't even make it to $2, and up here we made it to $3.32. And all the XRP cult was saying that XRP was going to like $100 or $10 was their most conservative target. And we came up to $2, and now we're breaking back down to hell. So XRP, garbage centralized banker coin, going to zero, in my opinion. Am I in any trades at this moment? No, I'm not in any trades at this moment in time. I've been like I said, I've been pretty busy for the past couple of days. I've been revamping my recording studio setup, which I probably will post on Twitter tomorrow. I'm waiting for the good lighting to come back so I can take a photo. $989. Was that someone's XRP target? 989 UST maybe. What's UST at? USDT. What's Terra again? What's the shitcoin Terra's stablecoin called? I swear it's called US Terra. Or has it just been taken out of? Has it been taken out? It is UST. So where is UST gone? Because it's not here. Oh, here it is. USTC now. Like I said, I really don't keep up with the Lunar ecosystem that much, but yeah, I mean, this would go up to, 500, 600 against UST, but it's definitely not going to like $500. I haven't done, no, I haven't done ADA. I will check out what's going on with ADA. So market cap is still exceptionally high for ADA. ADA's performing quite well, still ranked number 7. What would it need to do to come down a peg? Top ranking. Oh, so if it came down another peg, XRP would take it out, which is quite interesting. XRP Cult was talking about Simpsons predictions. Oh man. Oh my god. That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. When your favorite cryptocurrency cult starts pulling out, predictions from The Simpsons, then it's not a good sign. Alright, where's my ADA BTC? Do I have ADA BTC? I do have ADA BTC, so where are you? Okay, right here. So, ADA has been having a bounce on the weekly time frame against Bitcoin. On the weekly time frame against the US dollar, it's not been bouncing at all. So ADA's actually one of the weaker altcoins right now. Looking at the weekly squeeze mon, we're already trickling over into light red. So yeah, I'd say the next leg to the downside is probably coming for ADA. Lots of bearish volume coming in. The last time we did make a video on ADA, I believe we were here. Like, I really don't cover ADA too often. There's a few cryptocurrencies on my channel, or there's a few cryptocurrencies that are quite popular that I'm just not really too interested in covering, and one of those is ADA, and the other one is Ethereum. I will cover them whenever I see something macro going on, but ADA and Ethereum are never really going to be something I want to cover macro term on my channel. I'm just really not interested in them. I do think ADA and ETH will do well, even though I'm not necessarily the biggest fans of either of them. But looking at it objectively, I do think they are here to stay for at least another cycle. But with that being said, like I said, I'm just not too interested in them. The last prediction we made for this, we were saying it's going to drop 33% down to 36 cent. We've started this move. We're really not doing too much. Daily as well is starting to flip to the downside over on the squeeze mom. Let's see what the 4-hourly time frame is. So, let's see, because we had a fake out over here as well. This was on a bunny hill because we flipped it. But as we've now flipped back below it, it seems like the trend has come back into play. When was the last time we did this? So yeah, it's actually not too often that you do have these big fake outs over on the 4-hour. And as we flip back below them now, I'd say that's the nail in the coffin. ADA's probably coming right down to 36 cent. When Bitcoin takes out 20,000, which I could imagine would probably happen in the next week, maybe the next couple of days, ADA's coming right down to 36 cent. And the next major target we actually have is down here at 29, which really isn't actually too much of a big drop. And from here, 1.618 down here at 22 cent. You've got, I think you've got massive support back down here at the start of the trend at 12 cent. So if I had to make like a macro ADA prediction of where ADA could probably bottom in this bear market, I don't think 12 cent is too off the table. About another 75% drop, but let's be relatively conservative and talk about the 1.618 down here. 22 cent I do see coming into fruition. So as of right now, I would say another 54% drop to the downside is probably going to come into fruition. But, you know, like I said, our last price target, which we were predicting as a 34% drop, is still in play. So I'd like to see that come into fruition first. 12.5% we have moved down since we made that. What's up, Ape Tech? Bitcoin TA. There's not too much to update on Bitcoin. Since my last couple of videos, we're really just lollygagging. Like, we are emming out. We do look pretty bad. Let's see what the selling volume's like on major leverage exchanges. Also, CME futures. The next level down is 18,500. And it looks like we're getting the volume to pull us down to here. So I'd probably say Bitcoin's probably going to drop 10% next week. Still the same thoughts on waves. I haven't checked out the waves chart, but I will check it out quickly. Let's pull this up and then I'll quickly check out Bitcoin and we'll move on to waves. Waves. Georgie, Algo was one of the first ones we covered at the start of the stream. So, Bitcoin, next level down is the CME gap, obviously at 18,500. That is what I see coming into fruition. Macro time frames, your 300 week is down here at 16,600. And in my opinion, 16,600 is probably in play by the next FOMC meeting, which I believe is approximately 41 days from today. Oh, it's 39 days now. I've been gone for the past couple of days, so I guess it just left my head. But yeah, 39, or more so over to 40 days. 39 to 40 days. What is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange predicting? So the meeting date is the 27th, so they've got the up-to-date. And they are predicting another 100% likelihood of another interest rate hike, which is yikes. And I made a post about this over on my Twitter as well. while we are on the case of my Twitter, once again, I'm going to shamelessly plug it because we are coming up for 1,000 followers, so I do want to hit this very soon. So if you want to follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy, I post tons of updates over on and just good information and stuff over on Twitter. So yeah, this is what I shared. Powell says the Fed could raise the sorry, let me start that again. Powell says the Fed could hike rates by a 0.75 percentage increase in July. Obviously, this would be another 75 basis point increase. This is what we saw the other day. And this would be very, very nasty. So the sources over here, you can check it out on my Twitter if you want. And I also reshared this because I do think this is also good information over on Frankie Blanco's Twitter. So if the June monthly CPI is 0, so for example, once again, the next CPI, if this does come out 0, it will bring the year-to-date CPI down from 8.6% to 7.6%. And hypothetically, it would take 9 months of 0 CPI increases to reach 2.5% year-to-date CPI. So I really do think we are in for like a very, very long drawn-out period to the downside. I think even in your best-case scenario, if the Fed relatively quickly gets their hold on inflation, I think people underestimate how long this is going to play out for. Like, we are in a bear market right now. We are coming down to much, much lower price targets. We are in an absolute shit show in the economy right now. So I think it's a little bit hopeful to kind of expect, Bitcoin to previous all-time high and then, lollygag moon 100k within the next year or two. I just don't think that's going to happen. I really wish I could say that's going to happen because, if you know me, 90% of my bags are in Bitcoin, so I want more than no one for that to happen. But nonetheless, I just do not see it happening for years, which sucks. But it is what it is. FitFi, I think we've had quite a few requests for that, so we'll check out FitFi. We also said we'd check out Waves, so I'll check out Waves and then we'll move on to FitFi. eGold as well. A couple of people have asked about eGold. A couple of people asked about HBAR. So I'll just take it one at a time. Do you see Sol dropping to single digits now they've implemented the new dynamic chain? Yeah, I do see all altcoins going down, even if they do make improvements. But nonetheless, I do think it is good that Sol is making improvements. It needed to make improvements for me to even consider to invest in it again. But nonetheless, Sol, it's probably not going to be a good play until the start of the next bull run, which, once again, like I've been saying, until the Fed starts backpedaling and they start decreasing the interest rates, then the bottom is not in. And I said that the last 2 CME meetings, and we've dropped from both of them. So let's check out Waves, and then we'll move on. So, we've actually hit the last price target I made on Waves. I don't remember the last time I made a video on Waves, but we were up here at $7.18 and we were calling for a 31% drop down to $4.88, and it came into fruition. So next level down, as we have already bounced from the lows, would be all the way down here at the start of the trend, down here at $2. So as we've hit this price target, the next move, we obviously have to have a new target, and this is the next level down. So once again, 55% drop, in my opinion, is incoming for Waves. I really do not like this project. It has lost its USDN, Neutrino stablecoin, lost its peg a while ago, and it is currently sitting just below the area that it should be at. But nonetheless, not a big fan on USDN, and I'm not a big fan on Waves. In my opinion, obviously there's going to be a large subset of altcoins that are going to go to zero and never recover. If it's going to be any altcoin, then it's probably going to be cryptos like XRP and Waves. That people getting very, very bullish on things like XRP this market cycle. But I think once the bear market comes in and XRP goes to much lower price targets, and the people actually realize that all it did was make a lower high and it's been underperforming Bitcoin for years, then people are going to move on to new things. And I think this is going to happen with Waves. I don't think Waves are going to survive this bear market. What target what target hikes on Fed for next month, July, August? So I think it goes to July and September because they don't have them every month. They have them every other month. So yeah, you can see July and then September. So we're going to skip August. We're not going to have a meeting in August. We're going to have one in July. We're going to have one in September, one in November, one in December. So for the rest of the year, we're only going to have 4 more FOMCs. Once again, I said this earlier on in the stream, but the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is predicting 100% likelihood of a increase in the interest rates, and I would have to say I probably 99% agree with them at this moment in time. With the amount of inflation that's coming in, I do think that once again interest rates are going to be raised. Jerome Powell has already started to hint about another 75 basis point increase, which once again, this was something we talked about earlier on in the stream, which I did share over on my Twitter. So once again, if you want these updates on my Twitter, be sure to head over to 618@_cowboy. Literally almost at 1,000 subs. So let's hopefully we can get that to 1,000 by today or tomorrow. That'd be nice. Oh yeah, what target hikes? 75 basis point. I think I just said that, I'm not sure. But yeah, 75 basis points for the next month is what I'm predicting. I'd like to see what the inflation numbers are going to be like over the next 30 days, because like I said, previously there wasn't like 100% way that we were able to predict that the interest rates were going to move up by 75 basis points. But as soon as the CPI numbers came out at 8.6%, I was religiously telling you, 75 basis point is incoming, and that is exactly what we saw. So within the next month, we're going to see more inflation numbers. If the inflation numbers are once again still running rampant, then the CPI report, or rather the FOMC meeting, the next FOMC, it's very, very likely that we're going to increase another 75. Can you imagine what the markets would do if we increased by 1 basis point? That would be absolutely brutal. So FitFi as well. A bunch of people asked for FitFi. So I think what I'm going to do, because I've only got so much time, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rapid fire through these altcoins. I'm not going to do a ton of explaining on them. I'm just going to, because I pretty much look at these charts and within a couple of seconds I've already formulated my opinion, and I'm really just explaining what I see. But I will, because I know people want to see NEAR, BNB, VET, Steppen, FitFi, etc, etc. So I'm just going to run through a bunch of these really quickly, get some of them out of the way, and then if you want a further explanation, then you can always ask. Where is FitFi? This is the problem with covering so many altcoins. Half the time is just looking for where they are. Alright, it must be down the bottom here. Somewhere here. Where are you? Okay, here it is. So FitFi, wow, daily EMAs have not even loaded in yet, so that's a problem. 4-hourly time frame is what we got. What we are going to be having to look at. So the last video we were saying that your macro price target is still down here at 3.7 cent. Absolutely unchanged. In my opinion, we're still coming down to 3.7 daily time frame. Your most recent impulse from the swing high down to the swing low. You perfectly pumped up to the 618, massive macro rejection. You then move down, you move below the 0.5382. We're now starting to capitulate. We're rolling down from the 386. We are in a bull flag though, so I wouldn't be shorting at this period in time, especially as the daily squeeze bomb is starting to trickle over to the upside. But in my opinion, we're seeing bullish technicals that are not going to come into fruition because, like I said earlier, in my opinion, Bitcoin's getting ready for that break below 19,800, which was the previous all-time high. After we break below 19,800, I think there's going to be mass panic coming into the market. Then Bitcoin's going to move down to the next line in the sand, which was your CME futures gap. Inverse Bart Simpson over on the chart here. CME futures down here, 18,600. This is going to absolutely wreck the altcoins in my opinion, and that is when we're going to start to see a move down for FitFi. So I wouldn't want to be long for FitFi, 4 hourly running at momentum. Once again, you know, what happens in the next day or two isn't necessarily what I'd like to predict for FitFi. Within the next couple of weeks, I think 3.7 cent is going to be on the table. So FitFi probably going to break down. Cadena, I've already covered Cadena, Epic Media, thanks for letting them know. KDA, without a doubt, the best project out there. I'm sorry, but that is absolute bullshit. You know, I hate to burst the bubble, but Cadena is absolutely nothing compared to some of the cryptocurrencies out there. I'm not saying it's a bad project, but you know, when you say that it's the best project, you're comparing it against things like Bitcoin, and yeah, Cadena is absolutely nothing compared to the likes of Bitcoin. So, but yeah, I did already cover Cadena. I am bullish on it in the long term. I do think it's going to perform really well in the next bull run, but at this moment in time, we're in a bear market, so I think it's going to get wrecked. And then if it does keep on building, if it keeps on solidifying itself as a good project, so be it. But $1 down to 80 cent is probably what's going to come into fruition. But yeah, like I say that in the nicest way possible. I just don't like sugarcoating things on this channel. I don't, you know, necessarily. I'm not here to be agreeable. I'm just here to share my opinion. But KDA, definitely not one of the best projects. Doge. Actually, wait. We need to cover some of the other ones. I think we've had a near request maybe like 5 times now. So let's check out what's going on with near quickly. Okay, so our last price target on near got hit once again. So the last near video, we were predicting a 37% drop to the downside. We came down to the 1.618, perfectly hit it, and as you can see, we broke below it. This was why we were calling for $3.80. It was the 1.6. We slipped below it, perfectly back tested it, and now we're moving to the downside. So Heikinashi candles, you haven't even started to put any green in whatsoever. Bearish volume is absolutely swarming near right now. Daily squeeze more massively heading to the downside. You are in a bear flag as well, which is just not nice. A really, really nasty bear flag. Bearish pennant, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, near is once again, this is probably one of the uglier altcoin charts that I've been covering today. Once again, as we always do, you know the motto of this channel, we've made a price prediction, the price prediction got hit. We now need our next level to the downside. Now, right off the bat, your next, I was about to say that would be too bearish, but back down to the lows is really not actually too far. It's a 54% drop. And at this moment in time, I do believe that near is a good project. However, like Solana and like some other cryptocurrency projects that haven't been around for the longest period in time, they do have a lot to prove, and 2.5 billion is just completely overvalued. And I think it's kind of wrong looking at cryptocurrencies in the terms of the value that they produce. I would only really care about the value of Bitcoin and maybe some others that I do invest in. But you know, if you're trading these cryptos just to make a buck, then it's more about fundamentals, technicals, and social metrics. And you know, like I said, I do think near probably has a lot to come to the downside. I mean, I think it would be conservative to say that near in a bear market would hold 1 billion, which is way, way more than a 50% drop. So I think I'm being conservative with this drop, and as such, your next level down would be your 2.618. And you've also got a bear flag. I forgot about this. You have a massive bearish pennant down here. And as we are breaking down from this bear flag slash bearish pennant, your next level down would be just below this. So let's stick with the conservative target. And I know I say conservative when I'm predicting a 60% drop. But this is what I see coming into fruition. I think near is coming down in the next couple of weeks to the next month, anywhere between $1.50 all the way down to $1.30. No worries, HB Kings. Will you let us know when you start DCAing altcoins? Yeah, I definitely will. I will be DCAing altcoins when I believe the Bitcoin bottom is in, but I will be buying them for a trade. If you watch my channel already, you know, you've probably heard me talk about this multiple times. Bitcoin bottomed, altcoins outperformed for like 1 month or 2 months, and then what Bitcoin did is it had its low, it had its pump, and it came down and it made a higher low, and then it started moving up. Altcoins did the complete opposite. You know, they had a short-term rally against their Bitcoin pairs. For example, we're not looking against Cardano USD, we're looking at how Cardano performed against Bitcoin. And this is the same if you look at Litecoin, if you look at XRP, if you look at Ethereum, if you look at all of the cryptos that were back here in 2018, they all did the same thing. Outperformed Bitcoin for 2 months. That is when I plan on short-term trading altcoins to the upside. And then as I start to see indicators like down here, you can see weekly squeeze mom started to flip bearish. That was the time to sell. If you flipped on the weekly squeeze mom, you would have sold at the 15th of April. Even if you sold at the bottom of the weekly just to be sure, it subsequently would have dropped another 70 to 71% against Bitcoin. And by the way, we're looking at ADA, which is one of the highest outperformers in the market. So I don't think it's too bearish whatsoever to expect another massive leg to the downside. But as you can see, this kind of area, once I believe Bitcoin is bottomed, this is when I'm going to be making short-term trades. Then I'm going to be taking my profits. I'm going to be moving them back into Bitcoin. And then I'll be sitting on into Bitcoin for the next couple of months, the next 6 months, the next... I don't want to say year because I don't think it's going to play out exactly as before, and I would like to DCA around this general area, which I do think is once again going to come into fruition. But yeah, that's basically when I plan on starting to trade. But like I said, you know, I wouldn't be buying altcoins until the Fed pivots. So if the Fed FOMC meeting after FOMC meeting after FOMC meeting increases the interest rates again and again and again, I'm just going to keep on saying this, the bottom is not in until the Fed starts to backpedal. So the time to buy alts is when the Fed says we're not going to increase the interest rates anymore. And, you know, that's not happening. In fact, they're talking about raising it next month as well. I like your channel because KDA at 80 cent is what I want to hear. Yeah, I mean, we're just looking at things objectively, and I mean, it looks like the altcoins want to take a massive leg to the downside, so that's just what I think, at least. Yeah. I mean, if you're in these altcoins for the long term as well, you know, you might as well want them to go lower. For example, I'm in Bitcoin for the long term, and I want nothing more than for Bitcoin to massively pull down to like 16,000, 15,000, because this is where I want to buy Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, if you're in these projects for the long term, might as well buy cheap. The whole market is frozen at the moment. It's just stagnated. 1 second. My phone's running out of charge, so I might have to think of another thing. How long's the stream been going on for? An hour and a half. Not too long. BNB not doing too bad. A couple of people have asked for BNB, to be fair. I'll check out BNB. You're welcome, Joe. So if I'm not mistaken, BNB BTC, along with ETH BTC, were one of the best performers. Or BNB was holding up very, very well, should I say. But I do think BNB's next leg to the downside will be a lot more brutal. Especially with Binance going after them for being a security. Let's do, I wish I knew how to do... Can you even do polls? Is that something I can do in the chat? Can I ask a poll? Oh my god, I can create a poll. This is going to be awesome. Alright, let me do this. Is BNB security? You can answer yes or no. What do you lot think? Because Binance is going after them for being a security at this... not Binance, sorry. The SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, is going after Binance for being a security. What do you lot think? I'll give you my answer. I just want a few people to answer. I didn't know I can do a poll. That's pretty cool. Add reactions as well. Oh, nice. I can put my emojis in here. What else can I do here? I haven't checked this out before. I can't do another poll until this one ends, I think. So 62 people. 62% of people said no so far. I can't see all the results and how many people have voted. Participants. Oh, is this the participants in the comment section, or is this the participants in the poll? Because it doesn't specify. Oh, okay, here we go. 11 votes. Most people are saying no. Some people are saying yes. So we'll check out BNB and then I'll come back to the poll and I'll give you my answer. So the last prediction we made for BNB, wow, this has started to come into fruition very, very fast. Once again, this is one of those things where BNB was holding up very, very well, and it's got a massively high market cap, and a lot of people talking about this, but you know, once again, we were looking at the data objectively, and we were calling for a 42% drop on Binance from $280 down to $160, which sounds very, very bearish, but we're basically halfway down already. We're more than halfway down, and I do think this move is going to keep on coming. So at this moment in time, nothing has really changed over on Binance. We had our bear flag, we had a massive breakdown, we capitulated below the EMA ribbons, and you've capitulated below your 618 fib. The next level down is your 786. As I always say, altcoins do not hold their 786 Fibonacci's in a bear market. There's literally no altcoin. You go back to 2018, none of them, absolutely none of them held the 786. Every single altcoin capitulated below the 786, did a crab market, and then went into another bull run. Or if it was like XRP, it just did a crab run forever. But nonetheless, my price target is unchanged for Binance. My next level down is $163, but where I kind of think this would be coming down into the bear market lows would be like another 54% drop down to $100. This is not backed up by any technicals per se. This is backed up by, you know, psychological analysis. People always look at big round numbers. One second, I'm just responding to my friend because I'm going to be meeting a few people after this. So I'm going to be wrapping up the stream when my friends come over. Alright, let's check out what's Kingsley, I'm late. You can always go rewind through the stream if you want. We covered everything from Cadena, Algo, BNB, Waves, FitFi, GST. What else did we cover? I think I said Waves actually. Bitcoin as well. Ape is overbought. Yeah, I'd agree. But like I said, 163. What's going on with Ape? Is Ape having a pump? Oh yeah, Ape is overbought, especially on the daily. This is probably why you're coming into your EMA ribbons. Line of best fit. Left shoulder, right shoulder. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Let's look at the bunny hills. Do we have any bunny hills? It's been showing a lot of weakness, to be fair. So I mean, we haven't had a move into the EMA ribbons for a very, very long period of time. But this move up, as you can see, like I don't want to go through every example, but you can see bounce into the EMAs, bunny hill, bounce into the EMAs, bunny hill, bounce into the EMAs, bunny hill, bounce into the EMAs, bunny hill. And at this moment in time, we are coming into the EMAs, and the squeeze bomb is already starting to trickle down into the downside on the 4 hour. I want to see, are we coming into dark green, indicative that this is the top? No, we're actually starting to trickle back into light green, which is a short-term bullish signal, which might mean that this head and shoulders may not actually play out. But once again, still macro time frame, it's probably going down to the 1.618 at $2.29. bear market low. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to like $1. I mean, once again, my favorite thing to do is look at cryptocurrencies that are in price discovery to the downside and flip their chart, and then look at them and, you know, imagine this is a completely different coin. So this is an ape coin, this is chimpanzee coin, and chimpanzee coin had an all-time high back here, entered a mini bear market. As you can see, massive run up, new all-time high, back tested the previous all-time high, and now we're in price discovery to the upside. And obviously, bear in mind, we are in price discovery to the upside on the inverse chart, so this is probably going to mean this is probably going to go down for a massive leg to the downside. I have a question. What's the best way to identify divergence? So let's try and find some divergences. So if we get rid of the squeeze mom temporarily, my favorite thing to look for divergences on is the relative strength index. So let's see if we can find any divergences, and I'll give you an example. So at this moment in time, oscillator and price is moving up at the same time, so there's nothing diverging. Let's go over to Cadena. Price oscillator moving up, nothing's diverging. Waves, price oscillator moving up, nothing diverging. Higher time frames, nothing to see here. Weekly time frames, nothing to see here. KNC, daily time frame, no divergence, no divergence. Near, not really a divergence. Okay, no, this isn't a divergence either. Green Satoshi token, this is just bleeding out to hell. Over on the oscillator. Alright, sorry, I'm just responding to a message again. Once again, I'm going to be wrapping up the stream relatively soon because I have people coming over. FitFi, I can't spot any divergences right now. Does anyone in the chat know of any cryptocurrencies that are having divergences right now, so I can give an example? But until then, let's go check out the results of the poll. So most people say Binance is not a security, which is interesting. So where did BNB, what's the right word for this, have its ICO? So it is based in China. So you would have to look up the security rules in China, but nonetheless, as you can see, BNB, formerly Binance Coin, was launched during the initial coin offering. There we go, you can see it's got an ICO in July of 2017. So if you do understand securities laws, that is it in the first sentence, it is a security. If you do want to know about what securities are, and because I know a lot of people in the cryptocurrency markets have no idea what a security is. It is pretty complicated, or at least it takes a little bit of explanation. So if you do want to know what security is, head over to my channel, click on playlists, click on view full playlist, and it's literally this first video. Most cryptocurrencies are securities, and it will say crypto, initial coin offerings, and securities explained. In that video, we go against, we talk about all four things that constitutes the securities laws, which if I remember them off the top of my head, it is it's an investment vehicle. So it's an investment in a common enterprise. It's an investment with the expectations of profit, and it's an investment based on the expectation of profit derived from the efforts of others. So that is basically what BNB is. So BNB is a security, but you would have to look at, because it had its initial coin offering in China, so you would need to see if it's an unregistered security based on China's ICO laws. China ICO, should we specifically type in crypto ICO laws? So March the 1st, China has long banned ICOs with the first crackdown in the sector in 2017. We need to find out exactly when this was in 2017, because if we look back, where was the ICO? We'll get rid of the Twitter. July 2017. Let's check out the laws, the security laws over in China in July 2017. Ten-year sentence. This amendment takes effect on March the 1st. And as you can tell, BNB had its ICO in July of 2017. So BNB is an unregistered security according to Chinese initial coin offerings laws. So like I said, if you want to learn more about what an ICO is, simply come over to my channel, YouTube's, or this isn't what you'll see actually. If you come over to my channel, click over on playlist, educational series, and then once again, it's this first one here. I'll explain everything you need to know about securities, but we've been through it. BNB had an initial coin offering. It had it in July 2017. And as you can see, China they have cracked down on initial coin offerings. So BNB 100% confirmed this is an unregistered security. And as you can see, that is why the SEC is going after them at this moment in time. So they are most likely going to win that case. The thing is with ICOs is 99.9% of all cryptocurrencies are securities, but a lot of them come from Asian countries. So you would need to look at specific countries' laws on ICOs. So for example, I can tell you exactly what the ICO rules are in the US. However, I had to Google, we had to research this ourselves, what the laws are in China. And once again, very black and white, they have the same laws as the US. They are cracking down on initial coin offerings over on cryptocurrencies. This took place before the Binance, before Binance had its ICO. So yeah, Binance confirmed security. Unregistered security, should I say. Alright, so I'm going to wrap up the stream in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, let's see what the comments are saying now. General Grievous back in the chat. Who voted BNB ain't a security? Cadena a security. I don't want to go through is every cryptocurrency security. Where did Cadena ICO? Did it have an ICO? So it did have a token sale, it has had an ICO. You would need to look at where Cadena is based. I do not know where Cadena is based. If it is in the US, then yes, it is an unregistered security. Where is Cadena based? It is based in the... Oh no, this isn't Cadena KDA Crypto. Cadena was founded in New York, so as far as I can tell, Cadena is an unregistered security, which is, like I said, I think the SEC is going to be cracking down very hard on unregistered securities, so... Have my Elliott waves changed? No, my Elliott waves haven't moved since I made my last Elliott wave update, like, quite a while ago. On the daily time frame, you can see, like I said before, this was your 5 impulse, this was the all-time high. You had your A bearish impulse, you had your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC correction up to the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and at this moment in time we are in the 5 wave of the C correction. So we are in the last wave to the downside, at least according to Elliott wave theory. So I'm going to be wrapping up this video at this point in time. I'm going to be covering all of the altcoins tomorrow individually. I'll make separate videos about them with specific price targets. I'll probably be checking out what's going on the total cryptocurrency market cap, because we're, once again, you know, we were predicting this move down from the 618 fib up here at 731 billion. We were predicting basically half of the market to get wiped out as we come down to the 786, and that's exactly what we've done. And it does look like we are basically lollygagging, chilling out before we probably do come down to your macro 618, which would wipe out about another 87 billion. So tomorrow, keep an eye out. I'll probably make an update on the Bitcoin dominance. I'll make an update on the Bitcoin price. I'll talk about what's going on in the stock market, because the dollar is on a massive bullish rampage. The stock market SPY is still heading down. So basically all signals point for lower price targets on both Bitcoin, the stock market, cryptocurrency market, altcoins, all of that good stuff. So that's all I've got for you today. As always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace. See you in the next one.